y'all. Welcome back to the Grant Effects. I'm your host, Timothy Grant, and this is the space all about learning how to trust the process, grow through your seasons, and come home to yourself every step of the way. If you're joining me for the first time, go ahead and listen to episode one first. That's where I introduce who I am and what this show is really about. But today, we're going to get into something real. This one is called Understanding Your Purpose and Presence because sometimes you can feel shift happening around you, doors closing, peace disappearing, inner tension rising, and still not know what to do about it. So I have a question. Have you ever stayed in something too long? I know I have. I've definitely stayed in some stuff too long. I know I have. Let's say a job, for example, or a relationship, or a space you've outgrown, or some friends. Have you noticed any signs like you started to get restless, or you're exhausted, or that joy once came easy, now feels forced, or every time you pray or reflect, you feel a nudge like it's time, or scheduling conflicts, or things doesn't really align with your purpose anymore. It starts to feel like a sudden tension now. But instead of moving, we start to hesitate because we think we're being ungrateful, because we are afraid of starting over, because deep down we're trying to control how the shift unfolds. And I think that's something that us humans, we really have to learn, that the longer you stay in something that's expired, the more it starts to rot your peace. So let me ground this in something. I'm going to reflect on something about Isaiah 43, I think 18 to 19. Let me see. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? That's the word. But sometimes we don't perceive it. We ignore the shift. We fight the surrender. And then we wonder why we feel stuck. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about surrender, because people love to say, oh, let go, let God. And it's like, okay, do we really know what it's like to surrender? Sometimes surrender looks like walking away when you don't really have the full plan yet, or saying no more, even if it means standing alone. Another one could be closing the door, even if one only is open, because peace is better than convenience. And the truth most people don't say, we want God to move, but we also want to keep the blueprint in our hands. We'll say, God, let us have our way, but then we try to co-write the outcome. That's not surrender. That's spiritual negotiation. So I have a friend of mine. He got offered a job, one that he really didn't want. And I asked him, I said, why don't you go back to this job? And he's like, no, I don't really want to do it. And I'm like, and so I never asked him about it no more. And then I remember seeing him applying for these jobs, and I'll help him apply for these jobs, help him with his resume and everything. And then I came back to ask him, I was like, look, I know we talked about the teaching gig. Can you tell me a little bit about it? I really don't want to talk about it. It's like, I just felt hurt. I felt stuck. I ain't really want to do that job no more. So I was like, okay, well, say, take a look at it. Sometimes things that we used to do could be the solution to everything. So for a while, he tried everything. He looked everywhere. He applied everywhere. Nothing stuck. And eventually, that was the only job that said yes. The one that he didn't want. So it's like, and to me, I believe that God was trying to say to him, you need to go back. And not only that, he hears your suffering. He knows all your downfalls, whatever you don't like about the job. He will make those provisions in your life. He will make something work. And that's because the reason why he wants you to go back is because something is not finished. He is saying that I need you to go back because I am not done with you yet. I'm not done with you there. And that's more about obedience and not comfort. So he eventually ended up accepting it, and the job gave him everything that he needed to get him out of debt. So, most importantly, I would say it humbled him a lot. It gave him stability that he was looking for. But then here's the other thing he tried to do. So, he tried to hold on to this second job at the same time. And I remember he was telling me, he said, well, I really want to do this job, but the scheduling is just not right. I can't get the scheduling because everyone who's working at the federal government, they're looking for shifts and everything. Or people who did lose their jobs are now they're taking over the 8-hour jobs and everything to replace their income. So he said it's getting really tough to find a schedule that fits with me. So he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this job. He was like, well, manager did say that they can transfer me to another location, but I just heard horror stories. And I was just like, well, you might have to let this job go. He's like, well, I just really want to. I was like, that door about to close. I said, the doors is closing. You got to let it go. And I said, just think about it. You don't have a lot of time. You're going to be overworked. I'm like, let's say you worked all weekend. You're working 7 days a week. It's not going to work. So then he told me that his manager put him on the schedule every weekend next month. So he's like, I don't know if I could do that. And I said, well, all the stuff that you're in right now and that job, we ain't gonna have no time. You're gonna be tired all the time. You ain't gonna have no social life. You're gonna be like, look, I'm exhausted. So he said, yeah, I'm putting my 2 weeks in. That's just what I'm gonna have to do. And what I was saying is that God has a purpose for you. He wants you to trust his design. You got to trust his plan and his design for your life, because we try to hold on to things that no longer serves us. So we have to realize what we're trying to control, with the things that we're trying to control, God has already covered. He already made the provisions. He already made the changes. He's already covered that part. But what we're trying to do is we try to overcompensate. We try to get greedy, but then it begins to take away things from the things that we truly value, like the relationships, the time off, or the sleep, the energy that we try to have, those things that we really appreciate. We try to overcompensate, and then it starts to leach into our lives where we start to get we will get over ourselves because we want to do this thing. And that's when we start to lose focus. Well, actually, we start to lose focus on the purpose on or the plan. And then what happens is when we lose focus of that can actually take you back to step one. Because of the disobedience, you could lose not only that job, but you could also lose this job, or you could lose sight of what the purpose actually meant for you. So we have to pay attention to those things. And then also, and even if that didn't happen that way, God will also make sure that that door of opportunity also will close shut. He will make sure you can never go back. So he'll try to give you the opportunity to stop it yourself. He'll give you those opportunities. And that's the time where we have to be obedient. We have to listen. So I would say kudos to my friend to actually stop it and to put in the 2 week notice, because it just shows that he had to really think about it. He was like, I don't think this is going to work. This is not going to work. And he was like, I'm going to have to take a step back and just say, okay, you know what? No worries. I'll be okay. So, and just know that everything will be all right. Everything will be okay. And you will have everything that you will need at that time. And for the people who are without religion, maybe you don't subscribe to a church or you're a Christian, and that's okay. But here's truth for you too, because life has a way of guiding you towards what's necessary, not what's comfortable. So surrender may look like listening to your body, or trusting your intuition, or following the path of peace. Now, here's another one: letting the wrong door shut so something aligned can open. It may feel like a loss, but it's not. It's just a recalibration. We have to let go, not because it's easy, but because it is necessary. So I want to ask a couple questions. What are you holding on to that God or life is asking you to let go of? Are you trying to rewrite the path that's already unfolding? What would you surrender? What would surrender actually look like for you? You can DM me, you can leave a comment, share with someone who is wrestling with the unknown. Because here's what I know: peace comes when you stop forcing what's finished. It's just as simple as that. I want to close out and I want to say this to my faith community. Here's a simple prayer that you can say for yourself. So, God, help me to surrender what I cannot control. Help me recognize the doors you're closing for my good. Give me the courage to walk away, even if it hurts, so I can walk into the life you prepared. Let me trust you, even when I don't understand you. In Jesus' name, amen. And for everyone else, here's some affirmations that you can say to yourself. I release my grip on what's falling apart. I welcome a life that flows, not one I have to force. I trust what is for me will find me when I choose peace over pressure. You don't have to understand the whole map to take the next step. You just have to trust that your peace is worth protecting. Let go of what was, embrace what's next. You don't have to be afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't honor who you're becoming. Next time on The Grand Effect, we're going to talk about something big: speaking life, the power of words in agreement. We're going to go from surrender to declaration, because what you say shapes what you see. I appreciate you all for coming and listening, and I'll see you in episode 3. Bye bye for now.